Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Can't tell you how good it is to be back. I know I've only been away for a week, but I really missed doing this last week. Really missed it. So it is good to be back. Unfortunately, as we all know, life gets in the way of our online career, or whatever you want to call it, and occasionally we have to do things a little bit differently. I can't promise that's the last time that's going to happen. I do have to cover, obviously, for people at work when they're on holidays and stuff, and that does include the odd Sunday. I'm fairly sure it's only going to be sort of once every 2-3 months or something like that. But my plan is to try and put something together just a little bit a week that I can cobble together when I've got to work on a Sunday, and maybe bring the Sunday service back, just a quick 30-minute video just to kind of bridge the gap between the two videos that I was going to do the Sunday before and the Sunday after, or whatever. I'm not explaining this very well, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it is good to be back. Really good to be back here with a brew. Got my notes at the ready. This is already the fourth false start, so Guy and Callie, I think Callie was saying, oh, we'll take a note out of Tony's book and leave the mistakes in. Please don't take a note out of my book. It's not very good. But yeah, we're going to get there. So thanks for bearing with me, guys, last week. As I said, I did miss it. I really missed doing this. And while I was at work, cleaning my canteen and my toilets and stuff like that, all I could think of was I should be at home doing this now. So anyway, I'm back now, and glad to be back. Gareth, we'll start with Gareth. And Mike, the real Fifth Beatle, really enjoyed your video, the greatest VHS covers of all time. I think we forget how many brilliant, trashy movies there were around back then. The VHS era was such a good time to be alive. The early 80s and all that, it was absolutely brilliant, and I do miss it. Anybody that remembers it all. The Video Nasties era, all that sort of thing. It was such fun. It really was. But yeah, really enjoyed that. That was a real shot in the arm watching that. Nostalgia hit was just through the roof. It was brilliant. So really enjoyed that one, guys. And what do you mean, someone in chat who's older than Gareth, you cheeky sod? I heard that and I had to rewind it a bit. I thought, did he really just say that, the cheeky swine? Thanks, guys. Really enjoyed that. And Gareth, those Soldier Blue VHS tapes, cracking. I used to have one. Wasn't there a video label called Channel 5 a while ago? And I'm fairly sure I had a small handful of movies released by Channel 5, and I'm sure Soldier Blue was one of them, as it had a deep blue cover on it. I'd be curious to look for that, because that looked like it was the only one you were missing. And also the magnetic video one, which I think was in a cardboard slipcase, and that was when VHS first came out. So you're talking sort of very early 80s with that one. But I remember renting that one from Glyn Williams in Bargates Centre. I remember that very well. Remember renting that one from there when it first came out and being shocked to hell, as we all were, by it. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like on 4K. We've got a 4K release coming out, I think in July, which I'll probably be talking about a bit later. But I bet that movie looks absolutely stunning in high def. So looking forward to seeing that. And I also love that Canon Films video that you did, Gareth. I was just surprised I only knew 2 of them. I started it and I thought, oh, we're off to a good start. I've heard of these first 2. And then all of a sudden we just went into Chuck Norris, which I've never seen. Charles Bronson, I think the only ones I've really seen of his are sort of The Great Escape, the original Death Wish, and probably a couple of others. Assassination, I do remember that coming into the video shop. So that would have been about, what, 87, 88? I do remember it did good business because it was never in. It was pretty much always out, which meant I didn't get a chance to actually watch it. But it was a cracking video, mate. Really enjoyed that one. So looking forward to your next one. Oh, Year of the Dragon was the other one I remembered. What did I just say a few minutes ago? See, that's when I don't look at my notes. I cock it up when I don't look at my notes. There was another one I mentioned, and I can't remember what it was. But Year of the Dragon, I have seen that, but it was a long time ago. And I actually wouldn't mind another look at that. This is Mickey Rourke, set in Chinatown, I believe. So yeah, great vids, mate. Really enjoyed those. Congratulations to Scott, the lovely Scott. You got 400 subscribers. Well done, mate. Another milestone passed. Well deserved. You're like me. You just keep plugging away at it. You just keep sticking your videos out there. Eventually, if you keep doing that, people will catch on. As I was saying last week, I was talking to Callie about this online, and she was basically saying that that obviously if you keep going at it long enough, your audience will find you. You don't have to go out and find them, which is why I don't do any promotion of the channel at all. I just keep putting the content out there, and you know, my subscribers do creep up. I think it's up to about 137 at the moment, which I'm very happy with. You know what? I've got a fairly small audience, but it's a loyal audience, and that's all that matters. I do this for you guys. I don't do it for thousands and thousands of people. It's just not me. If it happens, it happens, but I can't see it. I know this is a niche thing that I do and all the other guys do. So, and there are so many out there, so many hundreds and thousands of people doing exactly what we do. So you've got a lot of competition. So I think if you start thinking of it like that, you know, with the amount of subscribers you got, you're pretty much on a loser to start with. You do it because you enjoy it. The same as me. I love doing this, absolutely love doing this, and that's why I do it. I don't do it to gain, you know, hundreds of subscribers. I'm happy with the audience I've got. You guys are just amazing, as I've always said, and you're pretty much all I need. So well done anyway, Scott. Well deserved, mate. I'll start with your comment. We'll do comments on the last video. Scott, another fantastic video, Tony. Really enjoyed it, mate. Cheers, Scott. Suspect is a fantastic film, really underrated. I had a great time with that one. Awesome stuff, Tony. Cheers, Scott. Suspect. This is another one. I remember coming into the video shop. I did watch it. I thought Cher was magnificent in it. I think she's magnificent in anything that she does. Even her very first film, I think, was called Silkwood. Apart from the one she did in the 60s with Sonny Bono. God, I think I saw that a while ago, and that was pretty abysmal. But Silkwood was absolutely brilliant. She starred in that with Meryl Streep. Can't remember who the male lead in that one was. But Suspect, great film. I'm definitely ready to catch up with it again. I haven't seen it since it first came out on VHS, so I'm definitely ready for a catch up with that one. I did have a look on Amazon, was it last week or the week before? And it is only available on DVD. There isn't a Blu-ray copy of it out there, as far as I know. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to take a step down and treat myself to the DVD copy of that, because I wouldn't mind watching it again. So yeah, cracking film, mate. Looking forward to your next video, by the way. It went up last night, but I haven't had a chance to have a watch of it yet. I think it's a haul video for May. Always love these things because I always love seeing what other people are buying. So I'll take a look at that, and I'll give you my thoughts on next week's video on that one. So thanks for that, Scott, much appreciated. Steve Mack, our Criterion guy. I got the Life on Mars Blu-rays after your vid, Tony. Bought season 1, making sure I saw the disc images before purchasing. I should have listened. I should have listened to you. Just put this down a sec. This is how it went for those of you that don't know. Ordered Life on Mars Series 1 and got Disc 1, Series 1, Disc 2 of Series 2, which pretty much makes the whole thing useless. Never want to learn, I ordered it again. And I thought, the first one, bear in mind, I ordered 8 years ago, so there was nothing I could do about that. There was no way I was going to send that back. I couldn't even remember where I got it from. But I thought, 8 years has passed, surely the same thing won't happen again. Oh, yes, it can. Exactly the same. Again, never want to learn. Let's give it a third go. But I did take your advice, Steve, and I checked the images on eBay to make sure, and I also emailed the guy who was selling it just to tell him I was thinking of purchasing it. Can you please just confirm that it is right? I told him what had happened, and he was happy to do that. And obviously now I do have Disc 1 and Disc 2 of Series 1. Now, Jason, you were saying that the best thing you can do is chuck the other two. because they are absolutely useless. But I had this bright idea of sending them back to the seller that I purchased the second set from, sending both back, telling a barefaced lie that I'd received 2 sets of the same series with the same fault, just to see what happened. But you know what? I'm going to take your advice. I even wrote out notes, of what had happened, and I was going to pop those in the post, both of them, and send them back to him and see what happened. You know what, Jace? You are absolutely right. It will then become somebody else's problem, and that's not really a nice thing to do. It wouldn't sit right with me. So they will be going in the bin, or I might even take them into work, and if anybody wants them, they can have them. But they will be aware that it'll be a little bit disjointed. It makes no sense, obviously, because when you come to the end of episode 4 of season 1, you're then going on to season 2, and I didn't even realise when I first watched it, I didn't even check the discs. So I watched it, and I do remember sitting there, and all of a sudden Rob says, "This wasn't the one that they advertised last time, was it?" Because you get the thing at the end next time, and it was something. It was supposed to be something to do with football hooligans, and it wasn't. So that's what pretty much drew me attention to the problem, which is when this whole roller coaster started. So basically, that series has cost me something like 30 quid in all. But you know what? It's a lesson learned, and it is. So it worked out right in the end anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I took your advice on that one, Steve. I should have thought of that the first time round, but I didn't. Still on Life on Mars, Steve. I have seen it. Used to have the DVD set years ago, but it's been so long I'd like to rewatch it. It's a brilliant series, Steve. We've now finished series 1 because we watched it on, I think it was either iPlayer or Netflix have got it, one of the two. But we watched all of season 1. We're now watching season 5 of Line of Duty, which is as addictive as hell. And please don't tell me who H is. By the time you watch this, we'll have watched it, so we'll know. But I can't wait to find out who it is. We're now 4 episodes in. I get the feeling we're going to kill off the last 2 episodes today. And then we'll go on to season 2 of Life on Mars, and after that season 6, the final season of Line of Duty, and then on to Ashes to Ashes. I think that's how it's going to work, so looking forward to seeing how that works. Where am I? Sorry, I've lost the thread here now. Steve Mack. I've recently been seduced by the amazing Sandra Huller in The Zone of Interest, and last night Anatomy of a Fall, a German actor. Really? I'm not familiar with her, Steve, but I'm fairly sure that if I saw a picture of her, I would recognise her from Zone of Interest, which was an amazing film. Absolutely amazing. I've heard such mixed reviews of it, but I thought it was brilliant, really enjoyed it. Yes, it is slow, not a lot happens, but it's all the better for it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Watch out for a special video here soon on my favourite box sets. Look forward to that one. I will have another box set for you next week. I completely forgot to bring one down this morning, so I haven't got one by the side of me. But my box set of the week will be back next week. You say, I think you'll like it. Also, there's a video tour of my Criterion collection on the channel soon. Definitely looking forward to that one, which is well into its 4th year now. Can't really believe it. I'm the same. I look at this and I go back over some of the videos, and I can't believe I've been doing this for like, is it 2 or 3 years now? And as I've said before, when I look back on the very, very first video I did, or even the first 2 or 3 videos I did, they were so unbelievably amateurish. But I put a lot of resistance up to actually starting it. As I've said before, it was suggested by my colleagues Dave and Lee at work that what you need to go alongside the website and the Facebook group is a YouTube channel. And straight up, it was no, absolutely not. And now look at me. But that first video, sort of holding videos up like this and talking about right in front of the face, it was ridiculous. But you can't quite believe how well you've done, can you, when you look at it? And I do watch these back when I've done them, just to make sure they are sort of good enough to upload, and this, that and the other. I'm becoming a little better with that. I'm not quite so critical, especially with the bad ones or what I consider to be the bad ones. I will look at them probably 30 minutes later and think, oh, do you know what? It's nowhere near as bad as you thought it would be. So I do totally get that, Steve. I do. And I think we've done remarkably well considering, like you say, you're into your fourth year. I'm probably into my third. Could we have seen this coming 3 years ago? No, definitely not. Did I think I'd be sitting here? I mean, I had trouble talking for, I think the first video was about 3 or 4 minutes. And now I sit here bobbling on for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. I did one once, I think. So, yeah, we've come a long way, mate. We've come a long way, and we've done really well. You also put, I've got that Close Encounters set. It's great. It's brilliant, isn't it? I was looking on Amazon to see how much it's worth. I'll come back onto that one later because Chris Hukin was on about that one. The only thing I hate about franchise box sets is that there will always be more. Example, Mad Max, Transformers, Matrix, Godzilla, Superman, which didn't even include Superman Returns, likely because of Spacey as Lex Luthor. God, are they ever going to let this go? What is it with these people that they have to judge the body of work on their personal life? It's just, no, it's not on at all. So I still think he's a cracking actor, and I do. American Beauty was absolutely brilliant. So no, I don't agree with all that at all. But as for the franchise thing, it used to do me head in years ago that you'd buy a box set of, say, 3 movies, and then all of a sudden a year or two later, guess what, they're coming back again with a 4th or a 5th. And it's like, what was the point of buying that then? Which is why I'm holding off on certain ones. I did buy one this week, which I'll be showing off next week, but it was in readiness for another movie that's coming out very, very shortly. And basically, I just got impatient. So. But normally, I would probably wait until the whole lot come out, especially if you know there are going to be sequels. So yeah, I do get that, and it is frustrating. Steve, thanks for that, mate. Much appreciated. Jason K, our Ginger Ninja, another cracking vid. Cheers, Jace. This week, my Trashy Tuesday review will feature animals, and it's a cracker. All I can say is post-apocalypse and animals are a great combo. Now, this has already come out. This shows how behind the times I am. Any of these comments that I'm reading out, if you can't remember making them, take it from me, you did. It's just been 2 weeks, probably more. It was Rats, Night of Terror. Great review, mate. Great review. Really enjoyed listening to that. And yes, it is in my animal attack book, which I was going to get out and show you, but I can't because it's behind me. But yeah, looking forward to watching that. I've ordered the Blu-ray from 88 Films, which I'll be showing off a bit later on. Just the clips that were playing behind you, I thought, yeah, that looks amazing. That's going to be one that I'm going to enjoy. And I did watch the trailer after I'd watched your review, and thought, yeah, absolutely. So I'll probably make that a bin it or keep it for 1 week, because I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong about that one, no more than you were. So you were talking about Infested. Infested, how awesome was it? I really enjoyed it. It looked great. Oh, it did. It looked a little bit too great. That cobweb tunnel that they had to go through with, I've never seen so many spiders in one place. I think the smallest one was about the size of your hand. It was absolutely horrifying. I don't think I could have done that for £1 million. I think I'd have preferred to die in one of the many fires that were going off than go through that. I'm fairly sure I couldn't have done it. But absolutely brilliant movie. I mean, as I've said before, if you are an arachnophobe, that is pretty much a spider hater's worst nightmare. There was just something about them, and with it being French as well, French horror is usually quite sort of gnarly and horrible. I'm not a great fan of it, and what they call French extreme cinema. You got movies like Irreversible, which was terrible, really awful film, and Titan, which I had some very sort of positive opinions about when it first came out. It's just shocking stuff. Maybe I think I'm just getting oversensitive to these things nowadays. I just don't seem to be able to watch the kind of things that I watched years ago. But yeah, they did a really good job of that one. Still looking forward to seeing Sting, which I believe is out very shortly, which takes a slightly more comedic approach to it, I think. Very in the vein of sort of arachnophobia, that kind of thing. It'll have its dramatic moments, but I think a lot of it is played for laughs. So that'll be a bit lighter in tone. But yeah, Infested, I really enjoyed it. It made me feel super uncomfortable, and it really did. Certain scenes got right under your skin. But yeah, it looked amazing. And as French cinema goes, it was definitely one of the better ones I've seen. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Let's see, I have a bunch of movies I will never part with. Two, I posted on the Facebook group today for May the 4th be with you. My original Star Wars and Return of the Jedi VHS. I did have Empire, but it was pinched many, many years ago. I think we've all had sort of so many different versions of Star Wars over the years. I actually owned at one time the 8mm 200 foot colour silent reel, believe it or not, because you used to be able to buy them. Let's see, there was black and white silent, black and white sound, colour silent, and colour sound. And at the time, I could only afford the colour, the 200 foot reel, which lasted normally about 6 or 7 minutes, but with no sound, because you had to have a sound projector to obviously play them on, which I couldn't afford. All I could afford was a projector that projected basically silent movies. But it still looked amazing. And I still remember the thrill of getting that thing home, getting it onto the projector and watching it. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And people forget that all those years back, that's pretty much all we had. This was before VHS came along, before DVD and Blu-ray and all that. All we had was Super 8mm. And that Star Wars one was amazing. The other ones I had, I seem to remember having the shower murder from Psycho, which I think lasted all of about 6 minutes. That was on a tiny little reel about that big. I think that was 50 feet. That wasn't much at all. I had that one, which I believe is still up in the attic somewhere. I also had a couple of Tom and Jerry cartoons, a couple of small trailer reels, which featured trailers from movies like Hanny Calder, which is coming out from 88 Films shortly, Witchfinder General, Curse of the Crimson Altar. I had a small collection, and I loved them. I absolutely loved them. Then when VHS came along, it all got sort of pushed to the side, because all of a sudden we could record TV programs. We could sort of rent movies in full, in colour and sound. It was the ultimate luxury. But yeah, again, VHS, what a time to be alive. I'm still not sold on Furiosa. Looks way too CGI'd for me. I may be wrong. I hope I am, but I don't know. This is why I've bought the box set that I'm going to be showing off a bit later on, because I want to reacquaint myself with the saga thus far. I wasn't overly taken with Fury Road, to be honest. I keep hearing about this Chrome edition, which is basically the movie in black and white. Yeah, in black and white, that's right. And people keep telling me that it gives a completely new feel to the movie. It's like watching it for the first time. I'm just not sure whether I want to sit through 2 hours of a black and white movie when I might come out of it thinking it's exactly the same, it's just in black and white. I'll see how I feel. Now I've got this other box set, I will be taking all four of them in before Furiosa comes out, and it would be rude not to at least take a look at Furiosa. But I tend to agree with you. Part of the charm of the original Mad Max movies was the fact that there was no CGI. I believe the shoot on Mad Max and Mad Max 2 was as chaotic as hell, basically because of the lack of health and safety, or the non-existence of health and safety back then. There is a documentary on one of these discs, The Madness of Max, which I'm looking forward to watching. It's a 2.5 hour documentary on the making of the original movie, which I can't wait to get to grips with. And there's another movie that I've got upstairs, I think it's called Not Quite Hollywood, which is a sort of an expose of Ozploitation movies. Now, Jace, have you seen that, or have you got a copy of that? If you haven't, try and get it. It's a cracking documentary, and it highlights just how fucking mad and batshit crazy Australian movie making was back then in the 70s and 80s. I'm sure it's called Not Quite Hollywood. If I think on later on, I'll dig it out, and I'll show it off on next week's video. If you haven't got it, Jace, you need to get that, definitely. No video next week. Whatever will I do at work? Oh, I guess I'll work. I won't be letting you down like that again anytime soon, mate. I promise you. All good, mate. You say thanks for that, Jace. Much appreciated. Loved your May movie haul, by the way. You had some really good titles on there, and love that little Trumpton style turntable. If that doesn't mean anything to you, anybody in the UK will remember Trumpton if you were around in the 60s. It started with a little musical box which was on a turntable, and that turntable you got kind of reminded me of that. So, yeah, like the Trumpton style turntable. Halloween 2 and 3, loved those little sets that you got. They were awesome looking. Really, really impressed with those. Wes Craven film collection, especially Deadly Blessing. Cracking movie. I haven't seen it for a while. I still remember the sequence with the spider crawling across the ceiling and falling off. That was shocking as fuck to me. The People Under the Stairs and The Serpent and the Rainbow. I think this is the era that I kind of lost interest in Wes Craven a little bit. I have seen The Serpent and the Rainbow a long time ago, and I remember watching The People Under the Stairs and not being overly impressed. I think I need to take both of those in again, with 30 years plus older eyes, and see what I make of them nowadays. So I will be grabbing copies of both of those and taking a look. But a nice looking set nonetheless. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Never seen it. I worked at a place, must have been 20 years ago nearly, and actually it wasn't, probably about 15 years ago. And one of the guys there had seen it and was trying to sell me on it, and I never did get around to watching it. But I've heard it's brilliant, so that's another one that I need to take in. Paranormal Activity 1 to 6. I do remember being really unnerved by the first one. I really was unnerved by it. Cracking movie, but it really scary stuff. Dune, David Lynch. Didn't see that one coming. I don't know why, but I automatically assumed it's never fair to assume anything. Assuming that's an ass of you and me, as somebody once told me. So I didn't see that one coming. I would not have thought you'd have been a fan of that movie. That particular edition, I think, is going for stupid prices over in the UK now. I did look for it. I don't think it was the same one. It had a lot of the same features on it. What I need to do is sort of freeze frame it, see what features are on it, and compare it with the one that's available over here. But I think it's going for daft prices. So that's highly unlikely I'll be going for that. But I believe there is an Arrow video release of that available over here. So that would probably be the one that I would go for. But no, I didn't see that one coming at all. What else have I got here? That bonfire, was it the Bonfire Horror Club? The final Friday of every month. That poster you put on. That looks amazing. We don't get much like that over here. Well, not where I am anyway. You've got a season of movies. I think was it every Friday of every final Friday? Yeah, the final Friday of every month. You've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is still as disturbing as hell when you watch it now. It's just a portrait of madness that you wouldn't see anywhere else. The Fly, brilliant movie apart from the arm wrestling scene. I still can't stomach that. Evil Dead 2. God, my memories of Evil Dead 2. I went to see it in Derby. Oh God, when it first came out. I think I was the only person there that was genuinely shocked by the violence and the gore. Everybody else was laughing, and I remember leaning over to who I was with and saying, I don't get what they're laughing at. This is horrible. Obviously, I see it very different now. It's obviously a comedy horror. It's a brilliant movie. I've seen it many, many times since, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. For some reason, it did then. But yeah, cracking movie. And what was the other one? Demons, which I've never seen. This is an Italian horror movie. I wasn't big on Italian horror when it was actually out in the 80s. I'm taking a bit more of an interest in it now. I definitely wouldn't mind rewatching Suspiria, which I saw many moons ago. and also taking in maybe a season of Dario Argento movies like The Godfather of Italian horror. So yeah, I will be taking in more of those, but I've not seen Demons. But you were saying I'm set for the next 4 months of movies. You certainly are. So yeah, thanks for that, Jace. Much appreciated. Right, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in a few seconds. And we are back. Right, just a quick sort of footnote before I go any further. Um, I thought about something last week. Somebody said something to me to do with the comments that I read out, and this is going back quite a while. I don't know what brought it to mind um, or what I was thinking about, but somebody said to me once that I seem to spend a lot of time nowadays just basically reading out people's comments, stuff that's already been on the Facebook page, on the YouTube page, and this, that, and the other. Um, which is true, and I think I brought this up once before a while ago, um, and basically said that, and this is still open, if you've got anything else that you want me to do or talk about rather than reading your comments out, please tell me. um, I'm completely open to suggestions on what to do with this every week. It doesn't have to stay the same every week. It will do for the moment. Nothing's gonna change because I can't see the point in changing it. And to be fair, it's not just reading out the comments. It's obviously me sort of passing my thoughts on as well on what you've said. So it's not just reading the comments out. I think, Callie, you read yours out, and I think yours is over within about 10 minutes. I can go on for nearly an hour just reading out people's comments and obviously giving my thoughts on them. So yeah, if you can think of anything else, or you've got any suggestions as to what you would like me to do or talk about on the videos, please just chuck these suggestions at me, because I'm completely open to anything like that. I mean, until that, I will carry on reading these comments because you guys spend so much time writing these things out and posting them on the group, and it gives me loads to talk about. Without comments on the last video, I think the average length of the video would probably, I think I'd struggle to make half an hour. So it's not something that I'm going to give up doing. And especially seeing as you guys spend so long writing these things out and chucking questions at me and giving me things to talk about, it's not changing anytime soon. But if there's anything that you want me to add into the mix, please just shout up. So, but until then, back to the comments. Lee, according to Tony, I hold the world record for a broken leg ankle. I broke it 2 weeks ago and I've made a complete recovery already. While it is true I'm recovered now and walking fine, I actually broke it on December the 24th, 2023, which just goes to show I don't check facts. I never have to. Somebody once said to me ages ago, I think it was Guy, we just enjoy the way that you bumble through these things, and the fact that you get things wrong and you don't check anything and this, that and the other. So yet again, that is just me. It's just how I am. So yes, you are quite right. I did get that one wrong. David Mansell, morning mate. Have you watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High? It is a great comedy film. I have now got a copy on Blu-ray, which I think I showed off on the last video a couple of weeks ago. I've not had a chance to watch it yet. This is an old story. You will get used to this. I buy these discs. They then go upstairs, sit on a shelf until I bring them down to watch. Sometimes it can take weeks, months, sometimes years. So you will get used to this. But I'll bring Fast Times at Ridgemont High down, put it on the TV so that it kind of goes, or next to the TV, so that it kind of goes up the watch list a bit. So I'll let you know as soon as I've watched it, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. But it looks like the kind of thing I would enjoy. So thanks for that, David. Chris, oh, so good to hear from you, mate. Thank you for the vid. Appreciated as always, sir. You're very welcome, mate. That Close Encounters set is one I may have to hunt down myself. It's still on Amazon, Chris, but the only one I could find is 175 quid. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I think it was about 70. But this is going back, must be 4 or 5 years, easy, when I bought that. But it's a very nice set. That is one of the ones I would never part with. I did notice you kept the paper slip on it. Wondered if you keep those on all of your movies. No, I don't. No, not really. I kept it on that one because it was part of it. That's pretty much the only reason for it. Any others that I get like that, I'll keep the cardboard slipcases, but very rarely will I keep those paper things that wrap around them because they normally end up looking tatty and creased and curled. So no, I don't normally keep them, mate. It's just that particular one that I have a real fondness for obvious reasons. I did keep that one, but the way it's looking at the moment, I probably will end up getting rid of it at some point. But then again, it just sits on a shelf. It doesn't do anybody any harm. It's not going anywhere, so why would I do that? I keep slip covers, but the flimsy paper ones go straight in the bin. Even though I then do not know what features are on any of the steelbooks I have. Oh, the features written on there. I'd not even noticed that. That probably one I will keep then. We are definitely in need of a suspenseful horror like they used to be back in the day. I couldn't agree more. As I said on the last video, horror is not what it used to be, and it's not. You only have to look at some of the latest Blumhouse efforts. Night Swim comes to mind. Heard so many great things about that. What a complete crock of crap that was. It just did nothing for me at all. Absolutely nothing. And normally, when a movie like that comes out, I grab it straight away and I'm straight into it and watching it. But nowadays, horror, I can take it or leave it. There's only one at the moment that probably a couple that I'm really, really looking forward to. Late Night with the Devil is one which we nearly watched last night, but we got so hooked on Line of Duty we ended up watching another episode of that instead. But that's one, and also The Final Omen. The First Omen, which I really, really want to see. There's also one called, another one that's got a very similar storyline to The First Omen, and I can't remember. Immaculate, I think it's called Immaculate. Also set in a convent, and to do with possession and demon babies and stuff like that. That looks really good, and it's got very, very good reviews. But I can't think of any others that I am that bothered about. They're just not frightening anymore. They do the jump scares, yeah, but anybody can do a jump scare. But to get a movie like sort of Friday the 13th, which you can literally watch over and over and over again. Yes, it's not frightening now because it's 45 years old. But at the time, that was pretty shocking stuff, and it was. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm very, very selective about horror films that I watch nowadays. Very, very selective, because more often than not, they end up being a crushing disappointment. So yeah, with you on that one. Talking of Aliens, I now have Aliens 4K, so we'll probably watch the franchise again soon. I didn't mind Covenant myself, but I also wasn't as disappointed as most were with Aliens 3 and 4. I enjoyed the first four. I do need to watch them again. The original I've seen many, many times. I remember seeing that at Burton Odeon in '79 when it first came out. Nasty stuff. But yeah, I do need to take them in. I've not seen any of the further sequels yet. Covenant, Prometheus, any of those. Not seen any of them. But I do need to take them in. I've got them all on Blu-ray upstairs, so I should really drag those down and get back into those. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the Aliens 4K, by the way. Whether it's worth the upgrade. I've got I think it's the quadrilogy on Blu-ray at the moment. So whether that's going to be worth upgrading to that. Will they be bringing out a 4K box set of all of them? I'm a bit loath to invest in sort of one movie, knowing full well that at some point there will be a box set coming out with all of them in. Then again, that'll probably be something like 250 quid or something stupid for all of those. But yeah, looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the 4K of that. Not sure if I've mentioned before, but Mel was only paid £9,000 for Mad Max. I wonder if he gets royalties from it. My God, he'd be a rich man if he did, especially the amount of money that's made over the years. Mad Max 4K Steelbook box set is definitely the set to have of these. The original is a great upgrade, probably better than Road Warrior, and the audio is great too. Fury Road is in particular is top notch. You see, you enjoyed Fury Road. Jason K, Ginger Ninja, he's not. I don't think he's overly taken with it, and neither was I. But I'm perfectly willing to give it another go, even though I only saw it probably 18 months ago for the first time. But I will give it another go in 4K, because I'm well aware that when you get a good print of an old, well, not an old movie, but a movie, it makes all the difference to the viewing experience. I will be taking them all in again, and I'm fairly sure I'll come out thinking that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Um, Soldier Blue Order is in for me. The 4K steelbook looks simple yet beautiful, so had to have it. As for the film, you described it perfectly. A great western with a despicable end that people should be ashamed of, but need to see the history as it shouldn't be repeated. Shocking stuff, genuinely shocking stuff. 55 years on, it's not lost its power. I watched the last 15 minutes a while ago, probably a couple of years ago, and remember thinking, Jesus Christ, that is fucking horrible, even now. So what this is going to look like in HD, I dread to think. But I will be putting in a pre-order for that one. That is a done. I just need to find out whether it is going to be the uncut version. It's got a running time of 115 minutes, which I believe is the most complete version you can buy. And if that's right, I will be getting it. But until then, I will be holding on to my Blu-ray, and I'll probably hold on to it anyway, with it being a German import. So I'm glad you are as pleased with the censorship box set as I am. Rob does some spectacular work. I'm yet to watch the 35mm set I've purchased. I need more time in life to get through everything. Don't we all? My God. I am definitely trying to find more time to watch movies, seeing as this is what I talk about every week, or supposed to be talking about every week. I did watch one yesterday, and I just want to get some momentum going when I will watch them at regular times. So I think Saturday afternoon is a good time, probably Sunday morning after I've done this, and probably Tuesday nights when I've got the place to myself. So I could at least get 3 movies watched a week, which is not bad. That adds up to 150 a year. So yeah, I do know, I get where you're coming from with that, absolutely. It's just finding the time. Secret of My Success is a great film, and like his others, Michael J. Fox we're talking about now, as if you didn't know, and like his others, went under the radar due to the success of Back to the Future. It always happens, and especially with Michael J. Fox's movies. As soon as you mention his name, Back to the Future, Back to the Future, that's all people remember. And yet he did some marvellous movies. Secret of My Success was good. I seem to remember Doc Hollywood was a good one. He did one, a dramatic role, Bright Lights, Big City, with Kiefer Sutherland. Absolutely brilliant. Superb. But obviously, people remember him most for Back to the Future. So yeah, I do get that. One of my prized box sets is pictured, Braveheart, of course. I'd have been surprised if it wasn't there, mate. Shame it's only Blu-ray, and it's still only about 40 quid, so I'm tempted to get another and keep it unopened. That's something I've never done, I have to confess. I've never bought 2 copies of a movie just to keep one sealed. I've not done that. So yeah, you got me on that one. I also love my Steelbook box sets: The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter Dark Arts box set, Monsterverse. I've only got probably 3 or 4 Steelbooks. Close Encounters obviously is one. I believe The Wanderers is another, and I've probably got 3 or 4 more. Maybe that's a little bit I could do one weekend, is show off all the Steelbooks that I've got, which will take about 3 minutes. I got many. I couldn't not have my Disney Classics box set or James Bond 50 years anniversary set either. Both of those, hold on to them. They're going to be worth a bomb in times to come, because both of those, especially the Disney one, they're going to they're going to be re-releasing these things at some point, but you don't know whether they're going to be cut again. And as for the Bond ones, it's pretty much a done deal that they're going to be cutting certain lines of dialogue, certain scenes where the attitude is not, au fait with the way things are nowadays, and all this sort of thing. So I've got that 50-year anniversary box set, the Bond one, and I won't part with that for anything, because I don't trust them enough to know that they will be releasing them uncut in the future. So as for the Disney Classics box set, I need to have a look at that one, but it looks like there's some cracking titles in there. One that I forget and love is my Matrix 10 disc box set, Pictures of those to follow shortly. I don't think we've had that yet, have we? 10 discs. How many movies did they do? I only ever watched the first one and it confused the hell out of me. It fried my brain, so I didn't bother with it again. But again, that's another franchise maybe that I need to get into when I've polished off or mopped up the ones that I'm sort of halfway through at the moment. I'm working my way back through the Spider-Man ones now. I'm into the Tom Holland years. I've got the Apes trilogy to watch at some point, Dawn, Rise and War, before Kingdom comes out. And after that, I'm open to suggestions on franchises, even though Jason's on the other side of the screen going, Mission Impossible, you bastard, you said you'd watch that one. Yeah, that's going to be the next one, I think. Lord of the Rings is going to be the one after that. But as I say, I need to put some serious time aside for that because it's the 4-hour extended versions that I've got. Have a splendid weekend and enjoy some you time. 2 weeks will fly by and we will enjoy your return. Thanks, Chris. I have missed it. I really have missed doing this. It's taken a while to get back into my stride again, but it'll all be good. Oh, and I haven't forgot my Resi Evil review. I filmed it, albeit quickly at the start of the week, but need to do a quick edit. I will put it up shortly. Look forward to that. Again, only ever seen the first of them. With it based on a computer game, it's one that it wouldn't occur to me to watch it. But I know people love them, so... loved your Spider-Man Homecoming review, by the way, and cheers for the shout out, much appreciated. And that Nightmare on Elm Street 40th Anniversary Ultimate Collector's Edition coming out on 4K. It's got a release date of December the 31st. I think they're going to bring that forward. I would not be at all surprised if that's a pre-Christmas release, because they're going to want to catch the Christmas sales on that one. Would I buy it? I don't know. I've already got the 7-disc set on Blu-ray. I have to admit, we only got as far as I think the 5th one and got not bored of it, but thought, we'll come back to that at another point. So we've still got probably 3 or 4 movies to watch in that. Whether it will look any better on 4K is another matter. I think I'll probably wait on that one. I'll wait until you've got your copy and then you can tell me whether it's worth the upgrade. But I'd be a bit loath to buy a movie on 4K that I've got as part of a Blu-ray box set, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks ever so much for that, Chris. Great to hear from you, mate. Callie, oh God, sung to the tune of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh God, do I give this a go? Saturday morning, Tony time. Saturday morning, Tony time. Enjoy it with a cup of Tony time. I remember that. Another cracking episode, honey. I remember that. My nephews, oh God, years and years ago, I had Sky and they didn't, and they asked me if I could tape Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles every morning for them. I think it was on some stupid time like 7 o'clock, and I used to tape it for them, and I do mean tape it. This is in VHS days. So that tune kind of stuck in my head, even though I've not seen it for must be 30, 40 years. So yeah, I do remember that. E.T. versus Chaplin. You were talking about some of your collectibles. I couldn't remember what it was. You mentioned E.T. and Chaplin in the same breath, and I couldn't remember what the hell I was on about. But yes, I have got an E.T. It's like a money box, a pottery one, and I've got a little Chaplin figure through there, which I'm hoping to put on this shelf behind me if ever I deign to get these books off it. Fallout is amazing. Even if you've never played the games, you'll love it. It's another one that's on my watch list. I've already put it on. Due to the fact that pretty much everybody is talking about it. Give Deadpool a chance. The Fourth Wall breaks alone are worth it. I will give Deadpool another go, even though it was a bit of a disappointment to me the first time I watched it. I couldn't quite believe this was the movie that everybody was raving about. But again, I'm willing to give it another try, even though I gave my Blu-ray copy away. I'm fairly sure I can stream it from somewhere. So I will be giving it another go. I've not seen the second one, but if the second viewing of the first one works out, I'll move on to the second one, and then on to obviously Wolverine and Deadpool. I think he's coming out, which looks amazing. But obviously there's no point in watching that if I've not seen the originals. Let's see. Make a vid showing you setting up and using the air fryer. I will do that. I will. It's still in its box. It's not even out the box that I bought it home in from Argos. So it's not set up yet, but I will do a vid. of setting it up, which won't take much doing. I think you just plug them in, and maybe show you the first few attempts of cooking in it. I'm already being told by several people, especially at work, that it will change your life as far as what you cook. You'll be a lot more adventurous with stuff, and it's all a lot quicker, a lot cleaner. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting grips with it. It's just got to be the right time. I'm in no hurry to get it unboxed, but maybe later this morning I'll take it out and have a look. Lord of the Rings, we know my feelings on that. You're not a fan of them, are you? Um, I haven't seen them, so I can't comment on them. But I will let you know when I've watched the box set that I've got. I'll let you know um, basically what you think, what I think of them. Close Encounters, get ready to be shocked. I've never seen it, but that light up box set is stunning, isn't it? You've never seen Close Encounters. I'm not really sure it's your thing, Callie, because you're more fantasy based, aren't you? Um, I love Close Encounters, as everybody knows, because it was one of the first major sci-fi films I think that I saw at the cinema, and it just absolutely blew me away. Didn't understand it the first time I watched it, got it the second time, couldn't get enough of it. I think I saw it something like 15 times in 3 weeks while it was at Burton Odeon. But it's just, with Saturday Night Fever, my two favourite movies of all time, as everybody knows. Phantasm is one of, if not my favourite horror franchises. Watched the first one when I was younger and fell in love with it. Cracking movie, weird and batshit crazy, but really good. The box set you have there is perfection, and I'm totally not jealous at all. So you should be. It's a beautiful set in it. It really is. I never ever thought in a million years that I would get that, but I was well impressed with it. Oh, excuse me. My favourite DVD box set is the Trilogy of the Dead box set. All three Night, Dawn, and Day of the Dead films, and a DVD with a 3-hour documentary. Had it for almost 20 years. So that's your favourite one. I loved Night of the Living Dead. Dawn of the Dead was amazing. Day of the Dead, a little bit underwhelming, but again, maybe 30 years on, I should give it another go. And I've not really gone beyond that. So I know Romero's done a few more sort of zombie movies, but I've not seen any of them. Modern horror, it's all shock and no substance. The 80s horror films had a good mix. Bits of gore, bits to make you jump, bits of boob, and of course the final girl that always wins at the end. Modern horror, it's all gore, and to be honest, the so-called heroes are so unlikable, I actually cheer when the killer gets them. Don't blame you. Modern horror, I could probably do a video on just talking about modern horror and the fact that I don't really like it very much. As I said earlier, I'm very selective about the ones that I watch nowadays, because most of the time they just disappoint me, and they do. I'll come back to this. I think this is a subject I could probably talk a bit more about, with some examples, with some discs by the side of me. So yeah, I'll come back to that one. You pretty much know that I'm not overly impressed with horror movies nowadays. More Higgis loves. Thank you, honey. You're more than welcome. I love your videos. I love the latest episode, by the way, the Marvel cartoons. Hadn't seen any of them, but they're all on Disney Plus, so I will take a few of them in. I do need to take in maybe the original X-Men series from the 90s, because you and everybody else talks about that as if it was just the greatest thing ever. So yeah, I will be giving them a watch. You were also saying that a lot of those cartoon series that you used to watch them pretty much over the breakfast table. We didn't have this. This is probably where I missed out on a lot of these series that you were talking about, like the Incredible Hulk, Fantastic Four, X-Men, all that sort of thing. When I was at school, we didn't have television before. I think TV started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I think it finished at midnight. And the first thing on, as I remember, at 9 o'clock was the school's programmes up until midday. So breakfast TV didn't come in till sort of the mid-80s, if I remember right. So we didn't have any of that. Obviously, we didn't have Sky One, so all of that was by the by. So I think that's probably where this glaring gap in my knowledge of sort of Marvel cartoons and stuff like that, I think that's possibly where it comes from, is the fact that we just didn't have any form of breakfast TV back then, none at all. It started at 9 and it finished at midnight, and then there was sort of 9 hours of nothing but the test card, which you have to be a certain age to remember. But but yeah, that's probably where that comes from. But I enjoyed the episode, and I certainly enjoyed Miss Violet's collectibles video. Elvira, that's a gorgeous figure. I would like that. I would definitely, grab a copy, grab a sort of one of those figures. Definitely. And it was also good to see you back as you again on the video. We've not seen that for quite some while. So yeah, welcome back, Callie. It was nice to have you back. Let's have more of those. Yeah, it was a good end to the season, a really good end. Looking forward to seeing what you've got in store for us next season or next year or whenever it's going to be. Enjoy the break, and we'll see you when you come back. Skip Covenant, 45 minutes of the running time is Fassbender flirting with himself. Nope, not for me. I won't be skipping it because I've got it on Blu-ray and I feel the need to watch it at some point, so I won't be missing it. But I get the feeling it's probably one that I'll only watch the once. Get on and watch the rest of the Predator movies. Miss Violet has spoken. Pineapple in hand, I'm sure. I will do. I've seen the first one. I need to get hold of the others. I believe they're pretty much all on Disney Plus. I'm fairly sure they are. I will take a look at them nonetheless. I believe some of them are on Film 4 at the moment. One was on Film 4 the other night, but it was halfway through. Can't stand watching movies halfway through. Mad Max 2 is definitely worth a second chance. The end chase with the oil tanker, perfect. It's coming. I will be taking a look at that one again, definitely, as you will see very shortly. Hell Comes to Frogtown, classic B-movie goodness. I've heard so many mixed reviews of this. Again, remember this coming into the video shop in the 80s. And the second I saw it starred Roddy Piper, I thought, oh, God, no. And as I say, the cover art looked ridiculous, so I didn't bother with it. But it's one now that I actually wouldn't mind taking a look at, so I will be grabbing a copy of that. They Live, Carpenter classic, right up there with The Thing and the original Halloween. Ooh, disagree with that one. I wasn't overly keen on They Live, but again, Roddy Piper, it just did nothing for me. Again, I will be taking another look because this was 30 years ago when I watched that. I'm fairly sure my opinion probably would have changed by then. So love this episode, honey. You keep making them and I'll keep watching and commenting. Really appreciate that. As I've said before, it's your comments that keep this going. Without you guys putting your thoughts down and asking me questions and throwing subjects at me and this, that and the other, I'd be lucky if this thing lasted 30 minutes a week. And as Jason's already said quite a few times, a 30-minute vid or even a 45-minute vid would seem ridiculously short nowadays. And I guess it would. So thanks for that, Callie. Much appreciated. As I say, it's great to see you back as you on Higgis. So, right, I'm going to take another quick break and then I'm back with some more comments. You've really done me proud this week, guys. Back in a couple of minutes. And we're back. Right, I was determined to bring this in at under an hour, but it ain't going to happen. So, Mark, I'm still watching Life on Mars and it's great. Just finished the first season, only watching one episode a day when I get home from work before the wife gets home. Loving it, absolutely loving it. My only regret, as per usual, is that it's taken me this long to get round to watching it. Amazing soundtrack, brilliant stories. Can't wait to move on to season 2. Which we'll be going on to very shortly, and then on to Ashes to see what they do with the 80s. So yeah, cracking series, mate. I grew up with horror. My mum is a Stephen King and Dean Koontz fanatic. Oh God, Stephen King, I've read a couple of his books or listened to a couple of his books on audio. Absolutely brilliant. Dean Koontz, I always thought, was a cut price version of Stephen King. I read a couple of his books and thought they were brilliant, really enjoyed them. Whereas he went for the shorter, punchier horror books, stories. Stephen King did these, 2,000-page epics like The Stand and It and stuff like that. But the two Dean Koontz books that I've read, and I can't remember which they are, I really did enjoy. And I need to maybe get one of those on Audible and have a listen. I was watching Freddy, Halloween and Friday the 13th movies way before I should have been. People don't believe me when I tell them that my eldest brother Jason was actually named after Jason Voorhees. 100% true story. My God. Talk about scarred for life. Have you watched Talk to Me? I think you'll enjoy it. I haven't. There's a reason for it. I've read, here we go again, the Parents Guide. Apparently there's a scene in it where somebody basically tries to claw their own eyeball out, and they pretty much manage to pull most of it out, and I'm fairly sure I would not get past that. And as this is in, I think it's the first 5 minutes, maybe I will. Maybe I feel brave enough one day to pop it on and just think, you know what, just turn the sound down or just fast forward past that bit. I reckon I'm going to give it a go. Yeah, leave that one with me. Yeah. You watched Abigail and you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much, but as I say, I do love a good vampire movie, so it would have to be pretty shit to disappoint me. I don't mind the odd vampire movie, especially the old Draculas, the old Hammer movies, and also the Universal Dracula. Used to love those. Jason, you said I've just watched the trailer. I thought, oh, this looks okay actually, and then it all went wrong. She turned into a vampire, and the characters became annoying. By spoiling the big reveal in the trailer, it made me not want to watch it. It looks awful, and now nobody will ever convince me to watch it. I wouldn't mind taking a look at it, but I'm in no great hurry to watch it, if that makes any sense. Mark, you replied, love me a good vampire movie, not Interview with the Vampire though, that was boring. I think that's probably one I've seen a long, long time ago. This is Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, yeah? I remember it being quite good, maybe more my style, I don't know. Jason, you said, I only like From Dusk Till Dawn and that's it. Oh, and Lost Boys. Yeah, I think it's just those two vampire movies I like. Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn, brutal as hell, really good though. Lost Boys, total stone cold classic. How can anybody not like the Lost Boys? Brilliant. And also, Mark, you put a list on of the vampire movies that you do like. There's some good ones in here. John Carpenter's Vampires, another brutal one, really, really good. Daybreakers, never seen it. 30 Days of Night, nope. Dracula Untold, nope. Blade, seen the first one, really enjoyed it. Underworld, is this the one with vampires and werewolves? With Kate Beckinsale? I think I've seen one of them. Priest, nope. The Invitation, nope. Bloodsucking Bastards. Sounds basic, but nope. Stakeland, afraid not. Day Shift, nope. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. I don't know much about American history, but I feel sure that if I'd have read anything about Abraham Lincoln, I'd have remembered something about him being a vampire hunter, so I'm guessing this is a complete fiction. Night Teeth, nope. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, neither the film nor the series. This is another series in the 90s that completely went under my radar. I just didn't bother with it. I wouldn't mind watching the original movie just to see what that's like, and just basically to see whether it makes me want to watch the series, but we'll see how we go with that. Just to name a few, and Jason, you just said nope to all of them. So, that's our Jay, straight to the point. Thanks for that, Mark, much appreciated. Guy, sorry I'm late commenting, been busy. I think I've got two sets of comments pasted together here, so forgive me if it sounds a little bit disjointed. Big Brother, no thanks. It's a load of bollocks. It's just, like I said before, cracking idea when it first started. It was good fun for about the first probably 2-3 series. Then after that, it just got boring and more boring and more boring until they canned it. And then all of a sudden, Channel 5 decided to resurrect it, and I'm fairly sure it's still crap now. So you really need to watch Apollo 13. You're missing out. It's definitely on my watch list. I mean, it's one that I've never seen. I do want to watch it. I love the space race and videos, sort of films set around that period. So yes, it is one that I will need to take in. New Star Wars, I think you would love Rogue One and The Mandalorian. Heard great things about Rogue One. I picked up a Blu-ray copy pretty recently, but I've not had a chance to have a look at it yet. The Mandalorian, I think the only part of a series that I've seen was the first episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, wherever it is, the one with Ewan McGregor. I never progressed any further than that with the series, and I don't know why, because I'm fairly sure that I probably would enjoy them, so leave that with me. Prized possessions, I have a VHS tape of the IWA King of the Deathmatch tournament, It's wrestling. Autographed by Mick Foley himself. I will never get rid or flog it. I've never heard of Mick Foley. It's not a world or a circle that I move around in. I did used to have to, here we go again, tape the WWF events for a mate of mine who didn't have Sky, and I usually ended up watching them, and I did actually find them quite entertaining. And I do remember some of them. Jake the Snake was one, the Ultimate Warrior. Oh God, there were so many of them. Who was the guy with the plank of wood? Hacksaw Jim Duggan, something like that. Remember all that. But as for after that, no, afraid not. So that means absolutely nothing to me. But obviously that is a prized possession of yours. So thanks for sharing that with us, mate. Welcome to Air Fryers. You're going to love it. I'm fairly sure that I am. I may end up unpacking that thing this morning because it's sat here in its box for it must be 3 weeks now, and it's not moved. I've created a space in the kitchen for it. So as I say, I will be sharing my my first sort of culinary expeditions with it. We'll see. And there's more. Tony Time on Star Wars Day. Cool. Multi-region Blu-ray player. Do you have enough HDMI ports on your TV? Do you know what? I didn't even think of that. Probably not. I do need to tidy up the cables behind the TV and the video. Actually, the DVD, the Blu-ray player, 4K player. There's just cables everywhere. I've got to find some sort of a system to tidy them up and get them looking a little bit better. But enough HDMI ports for another item? Probably not. Life on Mars. We told you so. I know you did. Shame about your box set though. If I were you, I'd purchase a new box set in case of streaming, cutting parts out. Practice what you preach. Well, I've already got both series on Blu-ray now, so I'm quite happy with that. As for Ashes to Ashes, I think it's available on DVD, but not Blu-ray, and I believe it is quite expensive. But it's all streaming on, I think it's iPlayer, so I will be taking that in on there. With not having seen it before, I don't think I'll notice if they have cut anything out, but I think it's fair to say that they probably will. Spider-Verse, you have to watch them. Brilliant storytelling and high-octane action. Thanks for the Higgis love. Spider-Verse. Yeah, I was asking about this. This is the animated movies that follow on from not the Tobey Maguire years, the Tom Holland years. Somebody else told me that they were absolute rubbish and nothing to do with it. Don't bother with it, they're crap. Now you've said exactly the opposite, so I probably will treat myself to those on maybe not 4K, but almost certainly Blu-ray, because I think they're going quite cheaply nowadays. Can't find much Spider-Man on Disney Plus. What's happened to it? The only thing that's on there is like the old animated series, which obviously I don't remember. So yeah, I don't know what's happened with that. So I'm really glad I bought the ones that I've got on Blu-ray, because I'd have stood no chance of watching them otherwise. Jason P. Jason. Another great video. Nice one, mate. Cheers, Jason. Your Life on Mars Blu-ray that's knackered. Throw it in the bin. It's not worth the hassle, and some other poor bugger will suffer the same as you did, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I did consider sending them back, as I said earlier, but do you know what? What's the point? For the sake of 20 quid, and I'd only probably get reimbursed for one set, which would have been about £9. Is it really worth all the hassle? No. So they will be going in the bin, or as I say, I'll take them into work and say if anybody wants them. Leave them on the windowsill. Somebody will lift them, I'm sure of it. So, Lord of the Rings Hobbit. I think you misunderstood. This wasn't one of those I won't part with because it's priceless. It was because I know in the future, probably another 5 years, I'll watch it again, or the grandkids will be into that kind of stuff. I'm not parting with it because I ain't bloody buying it again. Although my Hobbit Blu-rays are also nice little sets. I shall let you know what I think when I actually get round to watching them, but I do get that, I do. I don't think I have any DVDs or Blu-rays that are valuable because I never went in for the big fancy sets. They are nice, but not for me. I wouldn't have the room anyway. I don't even watch the extras on the films. I just want the movie and that's it. I think the Blu-ray movies I have that are different are the Mad Max trilogy, which is in a petrol can shaped steel box. It's displaying them, Jace. You can't put them on a shelf with your other DVDs because it just looks odd. So these are really display items that you need a special shelf just for those. So I do get that. If you're giving Deadpool another go, have you seen the Wolverine movies too? Logan is just brilliant. I haven't, no. No, I haven't. I do need to get into these as well. I seem to spend a lot of time nowadays, and I really need to watch. I really need to watch this instead of actually getting around to watching them. You were talking about Freak Treats. You went in there. Went into Freak Treats the other day. I could have easily spent £1,000. Wow. So much good stuff, but I haven't got the room. There is a Toony Terrors figure of Quint and Jaws. I'm tempted by it's £39.99, but across the road at HMV it's £29.99. Believe it or not, I came out of Freak Treats and bought nothing. I've only been in there once. I think I was only in there about probably 10-15 minutes. I loved the t-shirts and I loved some of the figures. But the Funko Pops and sorts of stuff like that, it's a world that means not a lot to me. So, yeah. Let's see. You went over to Midco Toys, and all you bought was 3 Barbie dolls for your granddaughters, and they're for Christmas. You're the same as me. I start Christmas shopping well early. I think I bought my first one this year, end of January for this year. So I will hopefully have all mine done within the next month or so and wrapped up and upstairs so I can just forget it. It's how I've always done it. I didn't do it last year and it backfired on me something rotten because I was rushing about like a twat in December trying to get everything sorted. It's not happening this year. It will all be done, wrapped up and in boxes upstairs by the end of hopefully this month. So I do get that. The Christmas jumper, oh God, I think you were going to send it back. I said the material was like nylon. It was awful. I ordered 6XL. I'm only a 4XL, but my Jaws one is 5XL, so I wanted to go a bit bigger, as that is just snug. Obviously, it's made by someone else, and the jumper would fit giant haystacks. It sounds awful. I'm glad I never went for that. I sent an email basically saying it was shite. They offered me £27 of the £32 I paid and said I can keep the item. I'd go with that if I were you, definitely, because as you said, posting it back, it's like these Life on Mars sets. It's too much hassle, way too much effort for very little return. So yeah, I would snap their hand off at that, definitely. See you in 2 weeks, Tone. Yep, you certainly will. Cheers, Jace. P.S. The Virgin Soldiers was a good purchase. I only saw it for the first time last year and got it on Blu-ray for £6 from CEX. It's actually 25 quid on Amazon, and only 3,000 copies of this Blu-ray were made. I do like that one. The one I want to see released is Stand Up Virgin Soldiers, which was released, I believe, in '76. It's not available anywhere, not even on VHS. Starred Robin Asquith, who you're well familiar with from the Confessions movies. I can't remember who else is in it, but that's one I would love to see on Blu-ray. Even on DVD, I'd settle for a copy of it. Let's see, what have I got here? Love that Funko Pop, by the way. Is that the one you were talking about earlier? Chief Brody with a fag on and his chum bucket. I thought that looked great. Really, really like that. Never seen it. 2 classic movies. Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Top. Well, the title of it is Fried Green Tomatoes, but I believe the official title, the longer title, is Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe, which is brilliant. They even bought out a cookbook because I found it on Amazon based around recipes from the Whistle Stop Cafe. I was tempted to grab it and I haven't yet, but I put it on my wish list. I haven't seen that movie for ages. I do remember loving it and I would love to catch up with it again. And Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Never in a million years did I ever imagine you watching that, but I love it, absolutely love it. The script is razor sharp. Guy Pearce and Terence Stamp are just superb. Again, roles you would never in a million years have imagined them taking on. Even Hugo Weaving from the Matrix films. Really, really good, classy, and also, as you said, with a brilliant soundtrack. You can't go wrong with it. Let's see. What have I got here? Oh, those release dates, by the way. I don't know whether I'm going to buy Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I don't know. I've got it on my dodgy stick, but I keep hearing it's got horrible reviews, and it's not a patch on Afterlife. So I don't know. Maybe I shall see, because it's coming out in a few weeks. It's not far away now, is it? Wicked Little Letters. I will definitely be buying a copy of that. Bob Marley One Love, possibly. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Dave Oliver will love that. He was really, really waiting for this. Yeah, I would definitely, almost certainly, be grabbing a copy of that, but I don't know whether I'll be buying it on Blu-ray. I think it's going to be a watch once and then get rid of. So, um, and you were also talking about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's doing very well at the box office. All the reviews I've heard so far, very, very positive. Everybody seems to love it. You put, we can't be asked to go to the cinema to watch it. I'm going to wait until it's released on Blu-ray, and I'll be down HMV on release date. I'm guessing a September release. Same for Bad Boys 4, October Blu-ray release for that, I reckon. I will absolutely, definitely be purchasing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes on 4K, definitely, and probably on the day of release, it is one that I want to see. I want to see it very badly, so that is definitely going to be a purchase. As for Bad Boys, you've recommended the franchise to me. I've never seen any of them, so I don't know. But I will be taking a look. I shall add that to my franchise list. It'll go behind sort of Lord of the Rings and Mission Impossible and Christ knows what else I've got to catch up on. So, right, let me just bring some bits and pieces over here. Just bear with me. Stuff that I've been buying. Oh, God. I did watch last night Spider-Man Homecoming. Dave Lowe, you were saying, great movie, can't wait to hear what you think about it. There might be a few bits that don't make complete sense without seeing more of the MCU. Definitely won't spoil the movie though. Michael Keaton turns everything he touches to gold. When you get to the first Avengers movie, the beginning of Spider-Man will all fall into place. Couldn't recommend Thor enough. One of the standout movies of the MCU Phase 1. Yeah, Thor is the next one on my list when I get back onto the MCU journey. I'm glad you enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming too, or Homecoming or whatever it is. Chris, roll on the review. I enjoy, sir. Rob Gear, you put great movie, enjoy. That's the one I've got. This is the trilogy, the whole trilogy in one box set. The Tom Holland years. Really, really enjoyed it. I've got to say, the story was superb. Michael Keaton was absolutely brilliant in this. I'm not his biggest fan. But I did enjoy his turn as Batman. He did a movie called Johnny Dangerously, which I enjoyed many, many years ago. Not so keen on the one where he played a snowman. I'm keen on that. But he was just brilliant in this. And also I enjoyed Tyne Daly's little cameo at the beginning, who I remember from Cagney and Lacey many, many years ago. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. The story was brilliant. Tom Holland makes a really good Peter Parker. I've got to say, really, really enjoyed him in this one. Yeah, the movie itself was absolutely brilliant. Can't wait to get on to the next one, which I believe is Far From Home. And I'm already being told that Spider-Man No Way Home will literally blow my mind. So I'm looking forward to getting onto that one. I might try to watch another one later this afternoon, which means that when I finish early on Friday, work, I can come home and put Spider-Man No Way Home and have my mind blown. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. So you were all absolutely 100% correct. I did enjoy that. So right, some bits that I bought before I disappear on you. Let's see, start with music. Now 74, well, Now Yearbook 74. I've also ordered the Now Extra yearbook because most of those yearbook extras are going for stupid prices now. I love this. It's not out of the cellophane yet, but this will be going in the car this week. This is the one. Mad Max Anthology on 4K. Now I have checked the quality of these. The original Mad Max is a massive leap from Blu-ray to 4K. So yeah, I totally get that. I will be watching all of these again, and hopefully seeing them with new eyes. But I'm really, really looking forward to getting into that. Without a doubt, that look, if they all have the same quality as that one, I'll be very, very happy. Rats, Night of Terror. Thanks, Jason K. I couldn't resist it after seeing the trailer and seeing your review, and then spotting this 88 Films release, which they take great care with the transfers and their extras and this, that, and the other. I thought, you know what, I'm going to grab that. So I'll let you know what I think of that when I've watched it. 2 books. I had these many, many years ago, and somewhere along the line I lost them or gave them away or sold them or whatever. I don't know. I've been after them for ages. They're usually going for stupid prices. which is why I've not bothered. They're still in the plastic that they arrived in from eBay. I got these for £12 for the 2. Here we go. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the diary, which is a diary kept by Bob Balaban, who played one of the scientists on the making of the movie. I had this ages ago, never got round to reading it. There you go. You got some photographs in there, but a lot of it is just the diary. And this, I used to love this, and I can't believe I lost it or gave it away or whatever the hell I did with it. But this is what they called a photo novel. There were a lot of these about in the 80s, and it's basically the whole movie told in photographs and captions. It's like a comic book come to life. I had a Star Trek one as well. I think it was The City on the Edge of Forever. So I was really pleased to get these. They were £12 for the 2. They're normally going for about 20 quid each and more. Well pleased with those. I was listening to a podcast the other day and this movie was being discussed, and I thought, you know what? I've heard of it, I've never seen it, and I saw it on Amazon for £7.99. Things to come. I believe this is based on an H.G. Wells novel to do with the future of the Earth. I know very little about it apart from what I've heard on this podcast. They were raving about it, basically saying it's a classic from the 30s, made in 1936. So I'm going to be taking a look at that. And also, I've got another book on Ealing Studios. I got one a couple of weeks ago called The Secret Life of Ealing, or the Ealing Studios, which I've not started yet. This has got more sort of pictures and photographs in it. There you go. Again, the history of the Ealing Studios, so what can you say? I just wanted to know more about it, and also I've started collecting these. These were released by Network and they are still available, so I'm collecting them. Every time I get 2 through, I order the next 2. Ealing Rarities. This is a series of discs with 4 films on a piece from the early years of the Ealing Studios, from sort of the early 30s up to about 40, 45, something like that. And I've managed to get volume 1, volume 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Not watched any of them yet. They're not even out of the cellophane, but I've ordered 7 and 8, so they'll hopefully be here sometime during the course of this week. Right, I'm going to let you guys go. I have prattled for far too long. I've got all sorts of bits on here that I was going to talk about, but I'm going to save that for next week, including the latest box set of the week and some bits of news that I've meant to impart to you for quite a while. Never got round to it, so I'm going to save that till next week. Thanks ever so much for joining me, as per usual. As I say, if you've got any suggestions at all as to, you know, what I can do to improve this, if there's anything that you want me to include, rather than just reading comments out, please just shout up. Perfectly willing to give anything a go nowadays. So again, thanks for joining me. If you've enjoyed the vid, thumbs up, subscribe, all that sort of thing. Have a brilliant week, folks, and I will be back with you the same time next week. Take care. Ta-da.